Hey smart people, Toby Salami here. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build inside of WordPress using AI. You're going to be using the same model that you're already used to using, whether it's Claude or Codex or Gemini, whatever it is. Use your same prompt that you're already used to using. It really doesn't matter what the prompt is, but you're going to have a completely different output, a wildly different output. The difference will be in how you get things set up here. Before we start, I need to make something absolutely unequivocally clear, and that is this, that AI is just a tool. If you use it wrong, you're going to get something wrong. I've seen people write a prompt such as build me a hero card, build me a card element or something like that and get something that looks like this with more than 38 utility classes and stuff like that, and get something that looks, just like this. And if you're looking at this and thinking to yourself, well, that just looks like an AI designed site. Well, you're absolutely correct, because this is actually an AI design card. And this is vanilla AI. This is how AI will do stuff if you do not apply the 10 tips I'm about to show you inside of this video. Keep in mind that what you're going to be using is the same model, the same prompt you're already used to, but what is going to be different is the setup. Different setup will result in a different output. Remember that your AI is only exactly as good as you set it up to work. Okay, so tip number 1. Before you prompt it, plan it. And what does this mean? It simply means that you need to chat with the model and ask the model questions. Are my ideas fully formed? Are there things that you can help me to refine inside of this plan that I have? I'm thinking of using this sort of design system to make this look the way I want it to look. What do you think about this? Talk to the AI. Ask it for what edge cases to watch out for. Make sure that your ideas are fully formed. You may be thinking inside of your mind that your idea is fully formed, but many times you would realize that in the course of chatting with the AI, you only realize that your plan was not even fully formed in the first place. Isn't that so? So ensure to always plan first. Use something called the plan mode. It's available in many of these AI agents. For example, Claude Code has plan mode. You also have Gemini. I think it's called anti-gravity, that also has plan mode. You also have Codex with plan mode. All of these have plan modes. So use the plan mode and get your ideas fully formed first, and then tell the AI that based on all of what I have discussed with you so far about this particular project, I need you to create a .md file or a markdown file that carries basically what is going to become of this project. So it's going to do something like write up a brief for you, and the brief will be basically the entire project fully formed and written down. And that is the starting point. So that's tip number 1. Before you prompt it, make sure to plan it. Tip number 2, you should build a house style web dev skill. It means that you need a skill that specifically mentions things that you decide are good for you. For example, for your web development project, you want to specify that maybe the naming convention to be used is BEM, which, if you don't know what that means, it means block element modifier, which is just basically a naming convention. You're saying you want to name it in such a way that you can very easily tell what elements are associated with what other parent elements. If you want to define something like that, you should tell the AI that you need a skill that will define inside of it that all of your web development projects would make use of BEM, or you want it to make use of clamp for all of the sizes so that you don't have to specify on every single breakpoint what the size of the font is going to be. You want this to be fluid enough so that it adjusts to all screen sizes. The AI doesn't know this by default. You need to specify it to the AI. Things like accessibility should be specified here, performance, code quality, components. You should put all of it in a .md file that the AI will always read. This one is not specific to any project. It's just your style. You're going to copy it. Every single project you have, you're going to paste it inside of there, and it's going to help the AI to understand how you do stuff. It's basically your house style web dev skill. Let me just quickly show you how I set this up for myself. Let's come inside of VS Code right here and open the .claude folder right here. If you don't know what this is absolutely fine. You don't need to know what it is. I just need to show you what the skill is. Of course, it's going to be different based on your own development environment. You just need to ask your AI, hey, a random guy on YouTube said this, how can I set it up this way? And it's gonna help you. But just keep the tip in mind. Okay, let me show you. If you come inside of Claude and open up skills, you would see web standards right here. It's a skill that I set up for myself. If you open the skill.md file, which is a markdown file, you'd see that it enforces strict web development standards for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And this is for me. Basically, the core principles of this says things like, if CSS can do it, use CSS. Do not use JS unless it is the last resort. I find that AI in most cases loves to use JavaScript for things that CSS already can do. So you want to specify to it, if this is of course your choice, to say, if CSS can do it, use CSS. Don't use JS unless it's the last resort. You also have things like the dry principle, which is never repeat yourself, use one class for one purpose and reuse it via CSS variables, and so on. Basically, I'm saying to the AI that these are my rules. This is how I want things to work on every single web development project ever that I work on. It's going to remember this because it's a skill that I'm going to be copying from one web development project to another, and of course I can update it whenever I want. So that's it for that tip number 2, build a house style web development skill. Tip number 3, you need to define your anti or anti patterns wherever you're from. Define it, and what that means is that you need to specify what negative rules there are. For example, you could tell the AI that you don't need any inline styles, you don't need it to add any random divs, you don't need no jQuery, for example, if you're working inside of WordPress like I am, and you don't need any skipped headings. For example, after it's done with H1, you want it not to jump H2, but to go from H1 to H2 to H3 and so on. This kind of rules that you want it to always remember, you must specify inside of your Claude.md file. And for that, I'm going to show you this once again. Let's close the skills, close.claude, and you'll find the Claude.md file right here. This is for Claude. If you're using Claude, if you're using something like Codex, you should specify it in your agents.md, of course. But let's just look at the Claude.md file, which is basically a copy of the agents.md. If you take a look at it, they're basically the same in both of them, right? But what has basically been done here is that the visual development environment tool that I make use of, which is called Builderius, has already specified a Claude.md file for us. It says, do not edit this section. It is auto-generated by Builderius Sense AI and will be overwritten. Add your own instructions above or below the Builderius auto markers. So if you need instructions inside of your Claude.md, you should add it above the section so that it will not be overwritten with a new version of Sense. Don't worry if that's too confusing. I'm going to show you a live demo in a bit. But the point of opening this up for you is that I want to show you that this is a bunch of other rules too. But this is basically going to be loaded in every single chat session that you have with the AI about whatever you're developing. It's going to be loaded every single time. And because of that, you want whatever you put inside of here to be rules that are absolutely important. For example, the do not rules, or what I like to call the anti or anti patterns. So let me show you that. If I search here for do not, let me show you what happens. You see a number of do nots here. It says things like do not inspect CSS before clearing it, do not read modules before deleting them, do not fetch data variables, and so on. You can see there are lots of do not rules inside of here. The point of showing you this is that whatever you want it not to do, you should specify that in your Claude.md file so that your AI remembers not to do it. You've had situations where you're developing a website and while you're building it out, you've told the AI in a different chat session, don't do this. And it doesn't remember that, right? So if you want it to always remember it, this is where you put the anti-patterns. 4 simple negative rules can clean up more than 40 positive ones. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is that you need to give each project its own skill. Let's go back to my VS Code. This is a particular project that I have opened up here. I want to show you the skill that I have developed for this particular project. It's called Tobi Salami brand. You see it has its own skill inside of it. And this basically is a skill that I use to define my own brand, how I want my brand identity to be, how I want things like my logo to look like, how I want things like my color palette to look like, and so on. All of this is defined inside of here. And if you look at assets, you would see you have my SVGs, my logo SVGs right inside of here that the AI can always remember to make use of. I have references to an implementation file, which is basically a copy paste ready code snippet for implementing my brand in web development projects. Now, it wouldn't matter whether I'm using WordPress or whether I'm building this as a simple HTML file or whatever it is, I'm just going to be able to maintain the same standards on that project everywhere. So it will basically cover things like your brand palette, your colors, your brand voice, the way you want things written, things relating to your components for your brand, the plugins, CPTs, and fields that are already on the site. Save it inside of where your AI loads context, such as inside of skills like this. Create a skill for it. If you don't know how to create skills, let me just show you how to do that inside of Claude Code. It's pretty simple. All you need to do is open Claude Code in your terminal or wherever you use Claude Code, and inside of there, you want to do /skill creator, and you can use the skill creator to create a new skill or update an existing one. That's basically how it works. If you're not sure how to make use of it in your own agent, maybe you're using something else like Gemini or Codex, ask that AI, hey, how do I create a skill that will work for you? And then let it guide you through doing that and ask it to do it itself based on your own rules. Tell it all the rules you want to tell it and tell it to create the skill for you. Okay, that's tip number 4. Give each project its own skill. Now, before we go on to tip number 5, I want to encourage you, if you're enjoying what you're watching so far, and if this is the kind of content you love, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just click on the subscribe button below, and you're going to be the first to see videos such as this whenever I publish them regarding WordPress or AI builds and design systems, and even live walkthroughs. Let's move ahead now to a live demonstration of what I have just told you. In the course of showing you the rest of the tips, I'm going to give you a complete live demo. I'm going to use these tips, which I have already implemented, to show you just how I can make use of this. One lazy prompt, which I'm going to use in order to build a section of the page in just one shot. In order for us to go ahead with this live demo, I want to explain what I have set up so far. This, if you look in the front end, is just a basic website which I have asked the AI to do for me. Nothing too fancy, but it's making use of my brand colors, and all of this do not look like the regular AI developed site. Of course, you can't see any of this purple bluish stuff anywhere on the site. It's all nicely done using my own brand colors, my logos and stuff like that, my picture, everything it's basically making use of is mine. Right? I'm defining how I want things to go in terms of design, in terms of development. I specified everything that's working here. Let's go into what I'm about to show you in this live build. Now, I have this project I shipped section right here, and the point of writing this is that I have a project CPT in the backend, which, by the way, the AI set up for me. I didn't have to do any of these things myself. It basically set up the CPT. It created all of the meta fields. It's crazy. All of this I did under just about an hour or two. I don't remember. It was basically very fast. Now, I'm going to show you how I can connect the project CPT to this builder. I'm going to tell it to build me basically a card for the project so that it will then show all of the projects in the front end. Okay. So first off, I need to click on Sense AI, which, by the way, this is a visual development environment called Builderius. If you're not familiar with Builderius, you can find more about this at builderius.io. Just go to builderius.io and you will find more information about this. And by the way, thanks to Builderius for being kind enough to sponsor this video. More on that in a bit. Okay, let's go back now inside of the builder. If you come down here to where you have Sense AI, all you need to do is click on Start Server. It's going to start the server, which is the Sense AI terminal. The Sense AI terminal can connect to Codex, Claude Code, and Gemini. Right now, I only have Codex and Claude Code set up, but let me just select Claude Code for this particular use case. I don't want to use Gemini. Of course, I have the option to use any of them. They'll give me very, very similar output because the setup is the same. That's the point of this video. Now, in order to explain what we need to do here, I need to show you what the next tip is. And the next tip here is to point and prompt. And what that means is that whenever the tool supports it, you should click the element and ask in plain English. Remember that we don't want to suffer here. We don't want to be typing to the AI, hey, I have a site I've developed. There is this part of the site that I currently am on, and I need you to look there under where you have project I have shipped. I need you to do this and find one of this, or you take a screenshot and try to point at it. It really doesn't make much sense when you have a tool like Builderius that makes the thing as easy as pie for you. Once I have that element selected inside of here, I can basically ask Claude Code or Codex or Gemini. I can say, hey, can you see what I have selected? If I ask it this, guess what? It's going to try to think and just look inside the builder which I currently am on, and it's going to find the particular element I have selected, and it's going to tell me, yes, I can see it. Look at that. It says you have the work card template module selected. Wow, this is nice. It currently has no children. Do you want me to dig into this config CSS surrounding tree? I'm going to tell it what exactly I need it to do. Basically, I have things set up already here in the rest of the page, but I need to tell it to build me a card that will carry the actual content of the project CPT. Let me show you that. I'm going to tell it that right here. Let's just say, build me a card following the relevant skills that carries the project's CPT item that should be contained inside of that selected element. I'm also going to tell it that it has the freedom to ask me questions if anything is unclear. But check things first so that it doesn't stress out my life, of course. So check things first. Okay, while it's working on that, I want to go to the very next tip. Tip number 6 is that if it is difficult for the AI to come up with a native or a brilliant idea of whatever you want portrayed on the page, you want it developed, and it's not able to come up with it, but you have a visual development environment such as Builderius, build one and ask it to replicate the rest. If you know how to use a visual development environment to build an example, AI is brilliant at copying, but it is a lot less brilliant at trying to invent ideas. If you handcraft one properly, you can ask the AI to scale that pattern. You can say, just look at this design, and based on this design, do something that's similar to this in this other situation. Trust me, it always works. Now, let's go back. Let's see what it's doing so far. It says it's starting by checking the current context and gathering what it needs before building. It's going to load the relevant tools and skills. It's loading all of the skills that are necessary. Do you see? It loaded my brand skill, and it now knows based on this skill that because it's working on a website for me, that it should make use of this skill. And the skill basically has carried all of what is necessary for it to understand that my design is the way it looks, and it's going to follow the design that I have specified right there. It wants to proceed with getting some content. I'm also going to tell it to switch to auto mode using Shift and Tab. You can see there is auto mode on right here, which gives the AI some autonomy. Not enough autonomy to delete stuff, but enough to do most of the basic stuff without coming back to me to say, hey, can I do this one? Yes, you can do it. I'm back again. Can I do this other one? I don't need that. It's pretty stressful to just have the AI continue to ask you questions upon questions about things that it should just go ahead and do itself. So I switched on the auto mode here so that it can go ahead and do the stuff for itself. It knows what to do. If it has any questions, it'll come back for me. But in the meantime, let's move on to the next tip. Tip number 7, let the AI write your queries. This also necessitates your having a tool that lets you allow the AI to write your queries. Queries are not the most interesting things to write. Take it from me, I write queries a lot. it's not very interesting to write, and it can get very boring or very technical very fast. If the tool, such as Builderius, allows you to write your queries, then definitely use Builderius to write your queries. I don't want to interrupt the AI as it's working on this, so let me just duplicate this page. I'm going to close it, but I want to duplicate it so that I can show you the dynamic data that this AI has already written here. If you click on dynamic data, come inside of templates so you can see the queries. If you come down here to the project, you can see the project is not yet on the page, but the AI has already written the project queries. This is a query for the project. If you click on get data, I want to show you what it returns. You can see all of the data for the query of projects. You can see the ID, you can see the name, you can see here not loop strength, you can see another one, stack line analytics. If you come back to the back end, you can see these are all the projects right here. And who did that? Who wrote the queries? The AI did. The AI wrote its queries for itself so that it can then make use of such queries inside of its design. That's absolutely awesome. Now let's leave that page, come back here. I want to see what the AI is doing so far. Wow, this is looking absolutely beautiful. I know it's not really done with the design. It's still working on the design so far. It says it's built the existing tree, but it's going to apply the classes and attributes in parallel. Nice. It's getting things done. As you can see, it's already pulling in the correct data for all of the projects that are inside of my CPT. That's unbelievable. And take note of the fact that it's also making use of my colors already. Like the colors that I have here are the exact colors that are made use of on this page. It's not trying to invent anything itself. It's just using what I told it to use. All of the data that it's fetched inside of here are all dynamic data. If you click on one of them, for example, you can see here that it's making use of the dynamic data tag that's necessary to pull in the actual name of the project. Damn. This is a new world we're living in. Anyways, that's how you do it. Let's come back to the tips. Tip number 7 was to let the AI write your queries. As I just showed you, when the tool supports it, let the AI do that. It's very fast and also very, very efficient. Hardly any mistakes ever made ever since I've tried using Builderius to let the AI do this. Let's move ahead. Tip number 8, let the AI refactor your old work. If there's some old work, let's say you did something previously in Elementor or inside of any other page builder that you find that it's not as impressive as you thought it was in the first place, by all means, you should let the AI handle the refactoring of that. And what that means is that you can point the AI at such legacy work that you've worked on. Maybe you've built it in a tool in other of such page builders, and you want it to rebuild it the correct way in a tool that lets it be free, such as Builderius. You can just let it refactor the old work and rebuild it for you within this new tool. And you can watch as old client work will ship with the current standard that you have set. Okay, that's tip number 8. Let's go to tip number 9. Tip number 9 is don't accept the first output. Now, this tip is very important because sometimes the AI needs you to push it a little more than you already did. You should tell the AI, hey, why did you do that? Always ask why, because sometimes it can help the AI agent itself to realize, hey, that may not have been the wisest decision I made. And it could do things like, quote unquote, think about why it did that and come up with a better strategy. And when it does this, refine the rules again and run that again. Refine the rules, set it up again in another .md file or modify the existing .md file, whatever it is, and then run that input again and watch whether the output is smarter, whether that iteration helped or whether it didn't. Each pass will sharpen what comes out next. Always iterate. Don't accept the first output. Of course, in this case, I'm going to accept the first output here because I have no time. Oh, it's working on the design so far. Okay, that's good. Go on, work on it. Anyways, that's it with tip number 9. Let's go to the final and the last tip. Tip number 10 is that you need to ship through releases. And that cannot be stressed enough. Ship through releases. If you're not using a visual development environment such as Builderius, but you're using something like maybe VS Code or maybe some other coding environment, and you're using AI for your work, ensure to have your work tracked in a way that you can always roll back or go back in time whenever you have to. Treat that visual work that you're working on like Git. It's your version control. It's your way of saying, hey, I need to be able to go back in time at any possible time in the future, just in case the AI messes up. And sometimes the AI actually does mess up. Let me show you what you can do inside of Builderius if you want to track your releases so that things don't slip by you and the AI doesn't make costly mistakes that cost you lots of hours of your development time. You come inside of Builderius, come to releases, click on create release. A release is basically just a snapshot of whatever you've had done up until that moment when you create that release. And of course, when you create a release, you can work on that release and continue to improve upon it. So if you want to create a release, you can go like 2.9 or whatever you want to set as the version number. You can select all what's going to be included in that release. And guess what? This release will contain things like your CPTs, your meta fields, your pages, even your blog posts, your content, everything. It's going to contain all that's necessary for you to basically just move this site to a different website. And that's very necessary because you can quickly port from one system to another and back. Now you can choose to publish the release, which will make this release the latest version on your website, or you can just create the release without publishing it, which will make it a snapshot. Now you can click on create release and let's see what happens. It creates the release as 2.9. It has the site header and footer, the global settings, the pages, the templates, all of what your posts are, and even your CPTs and your meta fields, all of it included inside of that release. You can download this, export it, or you can use that release and publish it as a static site outside of WordPress somewhere on the internet, like Cloudflare pages or GitHub pages or wherever you want. You can basically publish it wherever you want, however you want it. The limit is basically what your imagination allows for. That's it for tip number 10. You need to ship through releases. Ensure that you stage it so that you can always go back in time. AI can make mistakes. You need to prepare for it. Ensure that your visual development environment or whatever tool you're using supports this. A fast AI must have a save point. Okay, that's it for all of the tips. Let's see what this has done so far inside of this build. Ooh, this is looking nice. Let's click on save. Let's come to the front end. I want to see how things are looking. Let's refresh. This is very nice. Although I'm not too sure about the top here. I think maybe we need to take out that section, whatever is inside of that element. But this is very, very nice. What you see here so far is just the AI making use of all of my entire design system. It's not inventing anything of its own. The colors are mine. Everything is as I want it to be. And this is pretty nice. Okay, let's come back here. Let me select that element, let me remove it. Saved, good. Let's come to the front end, let's refresh, see how things are looking. This is looking okay. This is the reason why visual development environments are excellent, because whenever you're building, you can tweak things. You can select this element right now, come inside of styles, select that particular class, and you can come inside of typography and say, okay, I don't need that particular font family, or I don't need that particular font size. I need you to change it to maybe font size 6 or so, you know, something like this. Click on save, and it basically uses your variables, all of the things that are part of your design system. And basically, if you refresh in the front end, you have that adjusted there without doing that back and forth with the AI. Anyways, that's just an extra bonus tip if you so desire to take that one in. That is the final of the 10 tips I wanted to show you in this video, where I show you how to build safely inside of WordPress using AI. Remember, you need to plan, make the rules, prompt it, review what you did, then ship it. Ship through releases. Repeat this until the AI behaves like you. Let me know in the comment section below if you do yours just like this, or if you have a similar or different setup. Also, let me know in the comment section if this video helped you. Talking about Builderius, it's really a visual development environment. You can get your hands on it. You can install it as a WordPress plugin and then use that in order to build your website, just like I have done in this particular demo. Thanks again to Builderius for kindly sponsoring this video. And that's where we draw the curtain for this particular video. Until next time, smart people, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you've not already done so, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. My name is Toby Salami as always, people, and until I see you next time, you know how it is. Stay dynamic.